Hello everyone, back tuning into the SIF Winter 2020-21 update part 1. So here we go again, it's Sunday and it's time to show you another winter update. So I shall get on with the SIF Winter 2020-21 update very shortly. Just say that part 2 of the SIF Winter update will be coming up tomorrow evening at 6 o'clock. That'll be an analogues update looking at more September data. That'll be at 6 o'clock. Tomorrow evening. So this of course is going to be focusing on things like sea surface temperature, anomalies, solar activity, Eurasian snow colour, ENSO. All of that stuff will be featured within this update. And it's going to be quite a long video, of course. So it will be kept on the YouTube channel and also at GavsWeatherVids.com indefinitely. I shall place this video on the winter updates page with a written summary this evening, and you'll be able to have a read of that whenever you would like, and also watch the video on demand. That'll be at the website GavsWeatherVids.com either this evening, hopefully this evening, probably this evening, but possibly, if I'm running very late, not until tomorrow morning. But I will endeavour to get this up for you this evening. So coming up later on today, we're going to have a Christmas update at GavsWeatherVids. It's a written update for Christmas. That's written update number 2, I think. And then from 6 o'clock this evening, we're going to be live streaming. We're going to have a live stream where we will take loads of questions. No doubt this winter update the SIF winter update will be discussed. I'm sure people have questions about it. So that'll be coming up from 6 o'clock this evening. And also in that live stream, we will show you Winter 2020-21 seasonal model data from the CFSB2 and also from Patal Peng. We're going to have Patal Peng's latest analogues update for Winter 2020-21. So I know so many of you are waiting for that. It's going to be absolutely great, be absolutely fantastic, and that will be coming up, as I say, from 6 o'clock this evening. Going to be a mega live stream, so I'll see you live at 6. Of course, got this update to do for you before then. So, big thank you to Richard Traut for the Winter Updates gift. Thank you so much, Richard. Everybody loves the Winter Updates gift this season. Thank you so much to Richard for that. Richard has helped in other ways with this video, as has James Atquill and Shrine Bruin. And when we get to the sections where James and Richard and also Shrine have helped me, then I will, of course, point out where they have helped with this update. I think that's pretty much everything that I've got to tell you. So, sit back, relax, enjoy, get yourself a cup of tea, get yourself some nibbles, whatever you like to nibble when you're watching winter updates. Get yourself sat in a comfy chair, and I shall reveal the winter 2020 update part 1 for you right now. We're going to begin with the swingometer. This has been updated and sent through by our king of swing, Richard Traut. So this is how the swingometer is looking up to the end of last week's 5th winter 2020 update parts 1 and 2. This does not take into account this current update number 6, because Richard has not seen it yet, has not been able to import the information into a computer. So you will find out next week at the beginning of the 7th update how this 6th update has changed the swingometer. But for this update, we are showing you the swingometer up to the end of update number 5, and this is how it's looking. So a very narrow majority for a mild and average winter, 52% to 48%. However, that is actually quite a significant swing from last week, from mild to cold. We have seen quite a significant swing from mild to cold last week, as the gap is now only 52 to 48%. It's much bigger last week, taking into account like the 4 winter updates. So after 5 winter updates, we have a very slight majority for a mild and average winter, but actually from like last week to this week's update, quite a significant swing from mild to cold. And you will find out next week how this 6th winter update has changed the swingometer. Where has the swingometer swung to after 6 updates? You will find out next week. Thank you so much to King of Swing, Richard Traut, for sending that through to me. Okay, so this is how the this is running on our side of today from Surham.net. So we have actually got a couple of very small sunspot regions. We've got one just there, and we have got one over there. Despite this, solar activity is at very low levels and is expected to remain at very low levels for the next 3 days at least. So let's have a look at the GavsWeatherVids solar activity tracker. So it's been sent through by James Atquill. back. Our good friend James sent this through. So it's updated to the 11th of October. The orange line is depicting each individual day's worth of sunspot activity. So you can see the current little uptick in solar activity, sunspot activity that we've got at the moment. That's the orange line just pushing up through there. But generally we're still at very, very low levels of solar activity. We did get another little burst of solar activity towards the end of September, but you can see that overall the orange line is generally still on the floor of the chart a lot of the time. The days that have not got sunspots are still outnumbering very significantly the days that do have activity. Our trend lines, which are the thick green and thick red lines, are lifting up slightly. The current burst of solar activity is enough to lift the trend lines up a little bit, but they are still still more or less on the floor of the chart. We are still at very, very low levels of solar activity. We really are, even though we are several months into the start of solar cycle 25, we are still at very low levels of solar activity. This is from Richard. So this is showing spotless days and the current spotless stretch. So the current spotless stretch is actually 0 because we have got sunspots today on the solar disk. For 2020 overall, though, we have had 283 days without. We had 2003. Sorry, 203. Had 203 days without sunspots. That's comparable to 2019, which has had 281 days, or had 281 days without sunspot activity. That's 72% of 2020 compared to 77% of 2019. It's all telling us that we are at a very, very low level of solar activity, very much on a par with the beginning of solar cycle 24. The last solar cycle was also a very, very slow starting solar cycle. Solar cycle 25 is performing in very much the same way. We're doing our solar special next week. We reach the halfway point of winter updates next week for the 7th winter update, and it is going to be a solar special, so it's going to be absolutely fantastic. We will be premiering the 7th winter 2020 update parts 1 and parts 2 on Sunday and Monday next week. So it will be a solar special. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be like a little mini solar Sunday, I suppose. We'll update all of the trackers and everything else, and of course we will also with that be showing you analogues for winters at the beginning of a new solar cycle, early in a new solar cycle. So it's all to come with the 7th winter update, which will be a solar special and will be premiered next week on Sunday and Monday. That'll be absolutely great as it marks the halfway point of winter updates. This is how, moving on to the oceans, this is how sea surface temperature anomalies were looking when we did last week's 5th winter 2021 update. So we've got 4 areas of interest. We've got the ENSO region just here. We've got the Northern Pacific over here. We've got the Indian Ocean over there. And then we've got the Atlantic Ocean over here. Feast your eyes on that. Just feast your eyes on it, because that's how the oceans were looking when we did last week's 5th winter 2021 update. This is how the oceans are looking this week. This is the 9th of October, up to the 9th of October, latest chart that we have available. Let's deal with the ENSO region first of all. So the signature for La Nina, this blue area just here, colder than average sea surface temperature anomalies from Peru to Indonesia, goes on. So yes, the winter 2021 is going to be a La Nina winter. The only question is, how strong will that La Nina be? Let's go back to last week and compare forwards to this week. I think we've seen a slight strengthening this week of the La Nina, particularly over on the eastern side of the equatorial Pacific, but I think all parts of the ENSO region actually have probably shown a cooling from last week to this week. So you remember last week we did actually see a little bit of a pause in the development of this La Nina. We could see but we had a slight pause in the development of the La Nina, the strengthening of the La Nina, I suppose I should say. But this week I think the La Nina has strengthened a little bit, particularly over onto the eastern side of the equatorial Pacific. So La Nina continues and is continuing to strengthen. Moving further northwards into the northern Pacific, that's how things are looking this week. Let's go back to last week. So it remains very warm generally in the northern Pacific. However, this area just here in the northeast Pacific is continuing to show some slight cooling, I think. So up in the far northeastern portion of the Pacific Ocean, it is trying to cool down, but to the south of that little cooler area, so you see a little cooler area just here, but to the south of that it's still very significantly warmer than average through this area. So there's probably a bit of a fight going on at the moment between between warmer and cooler areas of sea surface temperatures. So quite where this goes, we'll have to wait and see. But definitely we have seen a little bit of cooling in that northeastern part of the Pacific Ocean. And then over into the Indian Ocean, again, that's how the Indian Ocean was looking last week. This is how the Indian Ocean is looking this week. Generally, I think it's warming up a little bit through the Indian Ocean, although we have not got a positive IOD, Indian Ocean Dipole. We explained in last week's update that the IOD is likely to remain neutral to weakly negative up to like the beginning of the winter anyway. Then it might move neutral to weakly positive, but shouldn't impact things too much. We're certainly not seeing a very significant positive IOD such as we had last winter. Over into the North Atlantic, again, let's go back to last week so I can show you what's happening in the North Atlantic last week. This is where we're focusing on now. Let's go forward to this week. So all quite stable in the North Atlantic really. The tropical Atlantic remains significantly warmer than average and through to Caribbean as well. It's also warmer than average off the eastern coast of America, off the eastern seaboard. A little bit cooler just here, close to UK, Iron Bay of Biscay, but generally the Atlantic appears to be relatively warmer than average. This is the change in terms of the sea surface temperature anomalies over the past week. So this is the trend. You know how the anomalies have changed over this past week. So past 7 days, I suppose. So generally the equatorial Pacific Ocean has cooled a little bit, particularly as I say over here towards the eastern part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. In the western part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean, nowhere near as much cooling going on there. So for the time being, this does look to be particularly an eastern-based La Nina. Later on in winter updates, we will probably try and explain the difference between central and eastern-based La Ninas and what the differences could be for the winter. But at the moment, this seems to be like more of an eastern-based La Nina. In the Indian Ocean, I think we can say that on this western side of the Indian Ocean, things have generally warmed a little bit over past week. And over on the eastern side of the Indian Ocean, things have generally cooled a little bit. So that's more towards a positive IOD. But again, we're neutral for the IOD. And I don't think the Indian Ocean Dipole is going to be a particularly big player for this winter. In the northern Pacific, so we can see that again, we've had some warming going on just here, had a little bit of cooling going on just here. This area is cooling, this area is cooling, and over here we're cooling as well. Looks like generally the northern Pacific is in a cooling phase, although some areas are, some warmer areas are trying to fight on. I think generally the northern Pacific is trying to cool down. That might be in response to what's going on with this La Nina. Remember, La Nina will generally have a cooling effect on the Pacific Ocean initially, and then on the wider oceans probably next year, because this is quite a significant La Nina event. So we are expecting the Pacific Ocean to cool, and we may be seeing that in the Northern Pacific, but some areas, particularly just there, and again just here, a little bit just there too, in some areas warming is still taking place. In the Atlantic, looks like things are generally cooling down a little bit in the Northern Atlantic, and still warming in the tropical Atlantic. So that's quite surprising. We're coming towards the latter stages of this hurricane season now. You'll probably expect the tropical Atlantic to be starting to cool down in response to these storms and hurricanes that we've had through this season. But actually, it looks like the tropical Atlantic is still warming, and that might be an indication that we have still got more tropical storms and hurricanes to come in this season. It certainly could be. This is from tropicaltidbits.com. This is showing how the central part of the equatorial Pacific is cooling on a day-by-day basis. So we can go back to the summer with this and see that back in the summer we was at ENSO neutral. The all important number is like half a degree above average for El Nino, half a degree below average for La Nina. So you can see that back in the summer, these are the dates of course on the bottom, back in July and into August, generally we was at ENSO neutral. But you see how these daily sea surface temperature has been dropping away, bottoming out there towards the end of September at around a degree below average. Then we have the pause. So we explained last week, you have seen a slight pause in the cooling of this La Nina, but over the past week, I think we have seen the La Nina beginning to develop once again, and you see how like each little blue spot is like a temperature only for each individual day. So you can see how from last week when we was around there to this week we're down here. It's only very slight, but we have seen a slight cooling and a slight re-emergence, slight redevelopment, I suppose. It never went away. A slight sort of redevelopment of the strengthening of this La Nina. We're still only around a degree below average, though, in the central part of the equatorial Pacific Ocean. Despite that, though, the CFSV2 is still forecasting a super La Nina. I think this is overdoing it, but look at this forecast. So again, the temperature is on the side. Dates are along the bottom in monthly periods. We're somewhere around here at the moment. We're somewhere around a degree. Below average for region 3.4, which is a central part of the equatorial Ocean. But by December, CFSV2 is forecasting us to be down there. So that's between 2 and 2.5 degrees below average. That is taking us into super La Nina territory. I think that will probably, if it came off, I don't think it will, but if it came off, that would be the strongest La Nina on record, actually. Look how that black dashed line just absolutely collapses away as we come towards the end of the year. Now, I think this is well and truly overdone. I don't think we're going to get, from where we are right now, which is around a degree below average. Again, let's go back to this. We're around a degree below average right now, as of the 10th of October. And so the CFS is saying that within the next 2 months, we're going to drop by over a degree, probably around a degree and a half, to go down to being very close to 2.5 degrees below average. I just don't see that happening. I think the CFS has gone too over the top with this, and I think we'll probably finish up around here. We'll see this black dashed line pulling upwards, and we'll probably finish up somewhere around 1.5 degrees below average for this La Nina event. Would be my would be what I would anticipate would be the lowest point for this La Nina. But it will be interesting. I could be wrong on that, and the CFS might be right. Certainly being right about a La Nina for this winter, but now I think it is going just slightly over the top with it. Southern Oscillation Index is an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state in the Southern Ocean. It's measuring air pressures between Darwin and Tahiti. When the SOI is in its negative phase, the atmosphere will be reflective of El Nino. When the SOI is in a positive phase, the atmospheric state will be reflective of La Nina. So negative is El Nino, positive is La Nina. So these two columns just here showing the barometric pressures for Tahiti and also for Darwin, and then this column just here shows you the daily SOI contribution. So you can see positive numbers all the way through, and go back to September, see all these positive numbers. But more recent days, I won't go back that far because I've got a lot to get through this update. But for more recent days, like 5th of October at plus 10, 6th of October at plus 12, 7th of October at plus 13, 8th of October at plus 13, 9th of October at plus 19, very strongly positive of positively reflecting La Nina, and 10th of October at plus 14.31. Those numbers are very strongly reflective of La Nina, and so we can see that our SOI 30-day average, which is the red line just here, is continuing to lift up. It's now at its highest point, but it has been up to 12 on the SOI 30-day index index. So yeah, the atmosphere is still very much been a La Nina state. Sea surface temperature anomalies, they continue to strengthen for this La Nina. The winter of 2020-21 will be a La Nina winter. There's no getting away from that. The only question is, how strong will this La Nina be? Will it stay at around quite a weak event for central parts of the Pacific Ocean, extra Pacific Ocean? Will it go to moderate, or will it go to strong, or will it even go to super Nina? Which of course is where the CFS is forecasting things to go. All will be revealed. This is how the 2020 Atlantic hurricane season is logging. 2020 hurricane season page at Wikipedia has been updated. So these are the scores on the doors for this hurricane season. We've had a total of 26 depressions, 25 tropical storms, incredible number of tropical storms, 9 hurricanes, and 3 major category 3 or above hurricanes. All of those numbers are up 1 from last week. Total depressions has gone up 1, total storms has gone up 1, total hurricanes has gone up 1, and total major hurricanes has gone up 1 as well. It's a very, very big season for the numbers. The numbers are very big, and ACE, accumulated cyclone energy, is moving as well. So this is where my good friend Shryan Bruin has been helping me out. So Shryan's been keeping this updated for me. This is showing all hurricane seasons going back to 1851 by ACE, accumulated cyclone energy. And that's basically the amount of energy that these hurricanes and storms are emitting as they are churning away through the Atlantic. The scale runs from below normal to near normal to above average to hyperactive. If we scroll down through all of the years of the decades, we can come down to 2019 and 2020. Just here, that's 2019 there, that's 2020 just there. And you can see that last year we didn't have an above normal hurricane season as we did in 2018 as well. And our last hyperactive season was in 2017. The last below normal season was in 2015 when we had the Super Nino, of course, of 2015. Well, this hurricane season has actually gone above normal now for ACE. So the number is just here. The ACE number so far up to the 10th of October is at 123.10. That's lifted up by over 20 points, I think, from last week. So it's been a significant rise again that we've seen this week. That takes us above normal for the first time this season. Accumulated cyclone energy has gone above normal. And again, 25 tropical storms, 9 hurricanes, and 3 major hurricanes. There is still more to go with this season. I think we have not done yet. So will we stay above normal, or will we actually finish up hyperactive? That's the question. Could this season go hyperactive in the end? It will depend how many more storms we get between now and the end of November, I suppose, and how much energy they give up. But we've already established that the tropical Atlantic is in a significantly warmer than average state still, so I think there's more to come. I think there's more to come for this hurricane season. Thank you so much to Shryan for updating that. And we've got the QBO just here. So this is how the quasi-binary oscillation is currently looking from NASA. So again, this is showing easterly and westerly phases back to 2017, 2018. So our last easterly QBO phase, proper easterly QBO phase, was in 2017, 2018, just here. Our last proper westerly QBO phase was from 2018, 2019. Remember, QBO is measuring the strength of the zone of westerlies, essentially. So when you're in a westerly QBO, you're powering up the zone of westerlies. When you're in an easterly QBO, you are weakening the zone of westerlies. We should be in an easterly QBO now. We should have seen this blue-green area just here descending down from the stratosphere. This is the strat just here, descending down from the stratosphere into the troposphere. That's 30 to 50 HPA just there. The boundary level of the actual weather is taking place. It nearly did it. It nearly did it at the beginning of 2020. But we see these raggedy, sandy-coloured lines just clinging on to the troposphere, not truly going away. So the ECQBO never entirely descended into a troposphere, and since the summer we have seen the westerly QBO coming back. Let's zoom in to show the very latest, what the QBO is doing as of today. So you can see that the ECQBO remains trapped and locked in at the very top of the stratosphere. Again, this is 10 HPA, right at the very top of the strat. You can see that with the green and blue colours up there, we have still got the ECQBO lurking at the very top of the stratosphere. However, coming down to the troposphere, look at this, the westerly QBO goes on. It's weak, it's a weak westerly QBO, but westerly QBO continues in the troposphere. We are still somewhere between a proper westerly and a properly easterly QBO phase. At some point, this has got to resolve itself. At some point, this has got to sort itself out. But quite where we go, I don't know. What we can say, what we can see, is that this westerly QBO is descending now very, very low down, descending very low down, even below the troposphere. When these easterly and westerly QBO phases start to descend below the troposphere, it's normally a sign that the next phase is going to begin to descend from the stratosphere into a troposphere. If you see what I mean. I'm probably going to explain that very well. So if westerly QBO is descending downwards, the easterly QBO might start to descend downwards as well. But we shall see. We'll see how it all resolves itself. At the moment, again, the QBO is a very, very confused and complicated picture. Right, I'm going to pause the video there. I've been talking for 25 minutes. I'm going to pause the video there. And when we come back, we're going to continue the SIF Winter 2020 update part 1. So you get yourself a cup of tea and some nibbles, and I shall see you back very, very shortly. Okay, we're back. And we're ready to resume the SIF Winter 2020 update part 1. I hope you enjoyed the video so far. If you have, please give us a like on the video. Let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. They're absolutely great if you can do that. So let's carry on now. We had a little bit of a break, stretch our legs. Let's carry on with this SIF Winter 2020 update part 1. And we're going to look at Zonal Winds next. So this is how the Zonal Winds are currently looking from weatheriscool.com. Now, you know I was quite unhappy with this chart from weatheriscool.com last week. They have really improved things a lot now. So, I've got loads of different lines here. I can't go through all of them, but what I can tell you is that, so this is looking at zonal winds at 10 HP in the stratosphere over North Pole. So let's just get one on the table first of all. Zonal winds are like the engine, like the energy that's driving the engine, which is the polar vortex. So polar vortex is the engine that's driving westerlies, and zonal winds are like the energy that's driving that engine, if you see what I mean. So this time of year, you'll expect the polar vortex to be powering up, so you expect the zonal winds to be powering up as well. And you see that with this black dash, with this black line just here, the black line lifting up and up and up until it reaches its peak sometime in the middle of the winter. So at this point of the year, we should be seeing the zonal winds getting ever stronger. The red dash line just here is last winter, by the way. Very often, much of the time last winter, the zonal winds were at record-breaking strong levels. Where we currently are with the zonal wind is where this blue line is just here, and so we are around or ever so slightly weaker than average with our zonal winds. Now, you know we had so many coloured lines last week, it's very difficult to make out what exactly we were looking at. But they're sorting this out, Weather is Cool. So if anybody's watching from weatheriscool.com, this is fantastic. Thank you so much for doing this. It makes it so much easier for me to show everybody the data. They haven't done it for me. I'm sure they haven't done it for me. But thank you so much anyway to weatheriscool.com. So let's put in the GEFS. So this is like the next 2 weeks. So in the next 2 weeks, these green lines just here are forecasting that zonal winds are actually probably going to weaken. Zonal winds are probably going to start to become weaker in the next couple of weeks if the GFS ensembles are right. From the current position, now I think most of those ensemble members are favouring a weakening of zonal winds, which is a little bit strange. As I said, this time of year, zonal winds would normally be starting to get stronger. We could also show you the CFS V2. So that's the blue lines just here. And this takes us on into middle of the winter. So, of course, this is October here. This is November just here. This is December just there. This will be January. This is January. This is February. And so on. So, through November, the CFS V2 and on into December as well, really, most of the CFS run 4 times a day. So, most of the CFS V2 members are forecasting solar winds to stay pretty weak. We have got a couple of CFS V2 members that are becoming stronger with the solar winds during December, possibly seeing a little bit of powering up of solar winds then. And we have one CFS V2 member which is actually going for reversal of solar winds, this one just here, in both November and also in December as well. That would be very unusual for that to happen, but that's a reversal of solar winds, probably caused by sudden stratospheric warming. Now, the CFS is, we think the CFS is overstating the weakness of solar winds. So the CFS is too weak with the solar winds. So let's take away those blue lines and put in the corrected. This is bias corrected. The bias corrected lines. These pink lines just here. And you can see that if you sort of take out the CFS and put in the bias corrected lines, actually we see that the CFS could well be forecasting, although it doesn't know it, but CFS could well be forecasting but solar winds become very strong during December. The solar winds might start to become very strong during December if we sort of take away the bias that the CFS V2 apparently has to have the solar winds be too weak. So that is much easier to explain. I hope everybody was able to follow that okay, and thank you so much weatheriscool.com for making this so much easier now to explain. I think what we focus on more than anything though is that for the rest of October, solar winds, or for the next couple of weeks anyway, which takes us into the second half of October, of course, late into the month, the rest of October, solar winds are forecast to stay pretty weak, to be honest. Right, or to become weaker. Right, this is how Eurasian snow cover is looking. So we have had more snow cover. You remember last week we explained that we had seen our first major snowfalls across Siberia. More snowfalls have fallen up to the 9th of October. Yes, we have seen more snow across eastern parts of Siberia. We're going to rattle through very quickly. So this is how this year compares to last year. This is the snow cover we had across Siberia and Eurasia in 2019. So we are, but although we have seen quite a significant increase in snow cover over the past week, we are actually behind 2019 for both Siberian and also for Russian and Scandinavian snow cover. 2018 looks like that. So we are probably ahead of 2018 actually at this point for snow cover this year. I think we're ahead of 2018. 2017, again, that's how things look this time this year. That's how things look in 2017. We're probably a little bit behind 2017. That's 2016. We're probably behind 2016 overall. That's 2015. What do you think about that one? I think we're probably behind 2015 as well. We're definitely behind 2014. There's no getting away from that. We're definitely behind 2013 as of the 9th of October 2013 as well. That's 2012. What do you think about 2012? We're probably quite closely aligned, I think, to 2012, although the areas of the code are slightly different. But I think if you was to take, you know, total coverage as a percentage or something, or a certain number of miles, we would probably be quite close to 2012, actually. That's 2011, probably a little bit ahead of 2011 at this point in the year, I would think. That's 2010. Again, we're probably quite close to 2010, actually, but the areas that are covered are slightly different. Again, but I think 2012, 2010, we're probably quite close to those 2 years in total. We are ahead of 2009 for Russian and Siberian snow cover, definitely ahead of 2009, but we are behind for Scandinavian snow cover. Something very interesting happened in October 2009. We had a very early build-up of deep snow cover across many parts of Scandinavia, less so across Russia and Siberia. So that was a very different season in 2019. Very slow for Russia and Siberia, but very quick build-up of snow cover in 2009 for Scandinavia. Anyways, we're behind for snow cover for this year in Scandinavia. We're ahead of 2009 for Russian and Siberian snow cover. We're well ahead of 2008 as well, quite clearly, for both Russian and also Scandinavian snow cover. I think we're ahead of 2007 also. We're behind 2006, I would think. We're behind 2005 as well. We're ahead of 2005, I should say. We're ahead of 2005 for snow cover also. We're probably a little bit ahead of 2004, I would have thought. That's 2003. We're probably a little bit behind 2003. We're well behind 2002. Look how far the snow line had advanced at this point in 2002, right way towards the west of Russia by the 9th of October. That was an incredibly quick advance of snow cover in October 2002. That's 2001. I think we're probably a little bit ahead of 2001. That's 2000. Probably quite close to 2000 overall, but the areas of cover are a little bit different. That's 1999. Again, we might be quite close to that year actually, but the areas of the cover are quite different. That's 1998. We are behind 1998. So we're somewhere in the middle, I think, really. There are several years, similar to what we saw last week actually. There are several years that, back to 1998, that we are ahead of, but several years that we are behind. I think the closest 2 years are probably 2010 and 2012. We can go even further back. This is from Rutger Snow Labs. So this is really interesting. We go all the way back into 1960s with this. Can you believe? So this is 1996. Now, I'm not going to show you the comparisons, but where you've got to turn your head round with this, I'm afraid. But where we've got this orange coloured area just here, that's where we've got snow cover. So I won't do the comparisons with this year by year because it would take too long, but let's just rattle through these. So this is how snow cover looked in 1996. Again, just to explain where everybody is. So there's the UK just there, there's Scandinavia, that's the west of Russia just there, this is Russia, Siberia, that's going to be Greenland, this is North America and Canada. The map is like tilted round to North America and Canada as this is a, it's an American website. So just tilt your head round and you get the idea. That's 1996. I'll show you 1995 just here. So we're doing pretty well for snow cover at this point in 1995. This is the week from the 10th to the 16th of October, by the way, the week that we are currently in. So that's 1995. Let's go back here then. This is going to be 1994. That's 1993. That's 1992. Again, let me know in the comments which years you think are closest to the current. Yeah, I haven't got time to do the comparison this week, year by year, but that's 1990. That's going to be 1989. That is 1988. Look how little snow cover we got at this point in 1988. Very, very mild winter, of course. 88, 89 was really struggling for snow cover at this point in 1988. That's 1987. Again, really struggling quite a lot. That's 1986, doing quite well at this point in 1986. That's 1985. That is 1984. Look how much snow cover there was across Russia and Siberia at this point in 1984. Incredible. That's 1983. A lot of snow cover again. That's 1982. That's 1981. That's before a cold winter, of course, of 81, 82. Probably not all that far away from where we are right now, to be honest. That's 1980. That's 1979. This is 1978. Again, this is before a very cold winter of 78, 79. Probably not all that much snow cover, actually, at this point in 1978. Very interesting. 1977, I've got big snow cover across much of central and eastern Russia at this point. Look how much snow cover we had in 1976 at this point. Most parts of Russia and even into Scandinavia were snow covered at this point in 1976. Wow, that's amazing. 1975 had less snow cover at this point, as did 1974. 1973 was doing quite well. 1972 was a little bit down on particularly 77, 76. 1971, this is amazing, isn't it? Really, really good. This is 1970. Look how much snow cover there was across Russia at this point in 1970. That's 1969. We haven't got any data for that year, unfortunately. That's 1968 before the severely cold winter of 68, 69. Notice most of Scandinavia was snow covered at this point in 1968. And deep snow cover across many eastern parts of Russia as well. And this is as far back as we go to 1967. And again, we see most of eastern Russia covered and doing pretty well for snow cover. Let me know in the comments all the way back to 1967 which years you think are closest to 2020 for total Eurasian snow cover. This is how the Arctic Oscillation is currently looking. So the AO is just an index that's reflecting the atmospheric state. So when the AO is negative, we've got high pressure blocking over the pole. When the AO is positive, we've got low pressure over the pole. Current position of the Arctic Oscillation is weakly negative. GFS ensembles are forecasting the AO to become increasingly negative through into the second half of October. It looks like the AO is moving into a negative phase. That tells us that blocking, northern blocking, is going to be in the ascendancy. NAO is also going to be trending into negative territory over the next week, really. So we're starting off weekly negative with the NAO. GFS ensembles, most of them are forecasting the NAO to stay negative or to become more negative over the next week. One or two are lifting up into positive territory, but I think generally we've got the AO and the NAO in negative territory and forecast to stay in negative territory. And not a surprise, given the amount of northern blocking that's being forecast by the models at the moment. So this is how the GM is currently looking for Saturday, 17th of October. Look at this northern blocking that's being predicted to be in the North Atlantic and going up towards Greenland. Very extensive northern blocking being forecast there, with really unusually high temperatures as well, going up into the northern latitudes as well. So yeah, a northern blocking signal. That's the reason the NAO and the AO are trending increasingly negative over the next week. Now, this is raising quite a lot of interest, this northern blocking that we're getting in this October. I just wanted to leave this 6th winter update part 1 with this and do a little bit on this. So it's getting a lot of interest, this northern blocking that we're getting in October. So some years we get northern blocking in October, such as 1974, for example. So this is the 3rd of October 1974. Again, with proper northern blocking here, high pressure around Iceland and extending back northwards as well. Winds to Western Europe are in from the east and from the northeast, and we just see really extensive northern blocking through October 1974. But this leads to a very mild winter. Winter of 74-75 was very mild. December 1974, for a very long time, was one of the mildest Decembers on record. So sometimes northern blocking in October is leading us up the garden path, and it will lead to a mild winter. Other times, though, it will lead to a colder winter. This is 2012. This is 15th of October 2012. Again, we see extensive northern blocking within the northern latitudes, high pressure from Greenland to Scandinavia. Low pressure is underneath it. Winds are in from an easterly direction in the middle of October 2012. And yeah, we just have a lot of blocking, a lot of high latitude blocking through October 2012. This leads to a cold winter for 2012-2013. Another example is 2010. So this is October 2010. Again, we have extensive northern blocking to the north of the country, extending back into the Arctic as well. Winds in from the north on the eastern side of that block, and we've got these warm southerlies going up to Greenland on the western side of the block. And yeah, October 2010 did have extensive high latitude blocking. That, of course, leads to the December to remember. And another example of an October had quite a lot of northern blocking is 1878. So I'll rattle through these charts very quickly. We start off at October 1878 with quite a lot of northern blocking within the northern latitudes, but also bringing up quite mild air from the south. I shall rattle through these charts very, very quick. You see that actually the northern blocking through the first half of October 1978 kind of weaker. In the second half of October 1878, we start to bring the blocking back. And it's really in the latter stages of October 1878 that we start to really set up that northern blocking within the northern latitudes. Proper high latitude blocking here as we go through to the latter stages of October 1878. True northern blocking around Iceland and Greenland, forcing the low pressure southwards eastwards and pulling down those cold northeast winds. And that, of course, is setting up the pattern of the winter. The pattern of the winter of 1878-1879 was very blocked, and it was a severely cold winter as well. So sometimes northern blocking in October will be leading you up the garden path, and you'll end up with a mild winter, as in 1974, 1975. But other times, and perhaps more often than you would think, actually, Other times, northern blocking in October will be giving you a tease. We'll be setting up the pattern for the winter. And that happened in 2010, it happened in 2012, and it definitely happened in 1878 as well. Let me know in the comments what you think. Is this northern blocking that we're having this October leading us up the garden path when we finish up with a mild zone of winter? Or is this the atmosphere telling us that something is going on? Are we getting a heads up that something is going on and this is setting up what could be a blocked and cold winter? Let me know in the comments and, of course, in the live stream what you think about that premise. Just to tell you what's coming up in tomorrow's SIP Winter 2021 update part 2. So again, we're looking at September, England and Wales precipitation. This is the England-Wales precipitation index from the UK Met Office. If you come down to the bottom of the chart, you can see that September 2020 had a total England-Wales precipitation of 54.3 millimeters, and so we will be looking at winters following September's with an England and Wales precipitation range of close to 54.3 millimeters for tomorrow's SIP Winter 2020-21 update part 2. More on that tomorrow. If you enjoyed this SIP Winter Update Part 1, then please can you give us a like on the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids. It'd be absolutely fantastic if everybody can do that. Right, that is it. 45 minutes. So it's been an epic winter update. I hope you have enjoyed it. That snowfall data that I showed you, nobody else is showing that online, I don't think. So that is unique content going all the way back to the 1960s with those snow cover maps. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this update. If you have, please give us a like on the video and let us know in the comments what you think. And it'd be absolutely great. Make sure to sub to the channel as well. So we've got part 2 of this SIP Winter Update coming up for you at 6 PM tomorrow. Second written update for Christmas coming up this afternoon on the website. And we're going to be live streaming from 6 o'clock. So I shall see you live from 6. But from this SIP Winter 2020-21 Update Part 1, that's all for now. And thanks for watching.